Sometimes we come across a coin and think, hey, this is worth a few bucks, only to find out that it's actually worth a fortune. And guess what? Today's coin is exactly one of those. We're talking about a 2005 Abraham Lincoln penny with no mint mark that could make you an instant millionaire. Yep, you heard that right, $1.60 million. Don't click away just yet, because I've got all the juicy details for you. Trust me, you'll want to keep listening. All right, let's dive into it. First off, let's break down this whole no mint mark thing. Normally, pennies have a mint mark. It's a little letter that tells you where the coin was made, D for Denver, S for San Francisco, and so on. But in 2005, there's a very special penny that's missing this mark, and here's the kicker. It wasn't supposed to be like that. It's 2005, and the U.S. Mint is cranking out coins like nobody's business. Most of them go smoothly, but then, a small number of pennies leave the mint with no mark. This mistake? A big one. You see, in a world where a regular 2005 penny is worth just 1 cent, this particular error coin is an absolute gem. A genuine rarity, like finding a needle in a haystack. Except the haystack is full of needles. Why is it so valuable? Well, it all comes down to a few things. First, it's the rarity. There aren't many of these floating around. Second, it's the historical significance. Coin collectors love a good mystery, and a penny from 2005 with no mint mark is like a treasure hunt in your pocket. Now, I'm sure you're wondering, okay, so how do I know if I've got one of these 2005 no mint mark pennies? Great question. You'll want to inspect your coin closely. Turn it over and look for any sign of a mint mark. If it's not there, you could have a gold mine. The real magic happens when these coins are authenticated and graded by professionals. And speaking of professionals, that brings us to the current market value. Ready for the jaw dropper? A 2005 no mint mark penny could be worth up to $1.6 million. Yes, million. That's not a typo. Can you imagine? You find a penny in your pocket and suddenly you're richer than you were yesterday. I actually had a similar experience. I once found a coin in my change that I thought was just a regular, old quarter. Turns out, it was a rare 1970 S-proof coin. Not quite as much as $1.6 million, but still a pretty sweet surprise. I'm telling you, sometimes coins have a way of hiding their worth, and you don't even realize it until someone with a magnifying glass and a lot of coin knowledge shows up. So, how do you sell a coin like this? Well, don't just go tossing it on eBay without knowing what you're doing. You'll want to get it professionally appraised, and depending on its grade and condition, it could fetch a fortune. Trust me, it's worth the time and effort to get it checked out. And if you do get lucky with one of these, the sky's the limit. All right, so there you have it. A 2005 Abraham Lincoln penny with no mint mark could be worth up to $1.6 million. If you've got one in your coin jar, now's the time to take a closer look. And hey, even if you don't have one, it's always fun to dream, right? Imagine finding a coin worth millions just tucked away in your couch cushions or old change jar. Before you go, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. If you want more tips on hidden treasures like this and strategies for finding coins worth money, you're in the right place. We've got a lot more content coming your way, and trust me, you won't want to miss out. So, hit subscribe, leave a comment, and maybe tell me about a coin you found that turned out to be more valuable than you thought. So, you've probably come across a penny or two in your time, right? But have you ever wondered if that old, scratched-up coin in your pocket might actually be worth more than just 1 cent? Well, today we're diving into a penny that's worth, wait for it, $1.70 million. Yup, you heard that right, folks. The 1964 D mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny is not your average pocket change. Stick with me, and let's talk about how this little coin could be hiding a fortune. So, the 1964 D penny. What's the deal with it? Well, it all starts with the minting year, 1964. This was a big year for coins. It was the last year that the U.S. produced pennies with 90% copper content. That means these pennies are solid copper, and they've got a nice weight and feel to them. But it's not just the copper that makes this coin special. It's the D mint mark, which stands for the Denver Mint, that makes this penny particularly rare and valuable. Now, here's where it gets interesting. The story behind the 1964 D penny's astronomical value comes down to a couple of things: mintage errors and rarity. Some of these pennies were struck with a unique error, double die obverse, meaning that the date and inscriptions on the front of the coin were stamped twice. This happened because the coin was struck with a die that had a tiny misalignment during the minting process. In 2018, one of these rare 1964D pennies sold for a whopping $1.7 million at auction. Yes, a penny, a single coin, for $1.7 million. I can't even imagine how much the person who found it must have freaked out. But it goes to show how valuable a seemingly ordinary coin can be if it's the right one. I had a similar experience. Let me tell you about the time I was at a garage sale, and I bought a bunch of old change just because it was cheap. I figured the pennies weren't much, just a handful of them in a jar. I tossed them in my drawer and forgot about them. Fast forward a couple of years, and I came across one of those pennies while doing a little spring cleaning. I was about to toss it into the jar of loose change again when something caught my eye. The date on that penny was a 1943, and it had some unusual markings. Turns out, it was a rare error coin. No, not worth millions, but it was still pretty cool to find out I had something special, even if it wasn't as valuable as the 1960-40. Anyway, back to that $1 million penny. If you're thinking, well, I'm definitely going to search through all my pennies now, here's the thing. Not every 1960-40 penny is worth that kind of money. The ones that sell for crazy amounts are the ones with the double die error. Those rare, perfectly minted ones. And, let's face it, finding one of those is like trying to find a needle in a haystack. But don't get discouraged. There are still other valuable pennies out there that could be worth a pretty penny, pun intended. Keep your eyes peeled for other rare coins, like the 1955 double die, or even the 1943 copper penny, which is another sought-after rarity. And here's a tip: condition matters. A penny in pristine condition, without any wear or scratches, will always fetch a higher price. Oh, there you have it. The 1964D Lincoln penny. One of the most valuable pennies out there if you happen to stumble upon one with that error. Who knew that something so small could hold such big value, right? If you've got some old coins sitting around, it might be worth taking a second look, because you never know when you could hit the jackpot. And before I let you go, do me a favor. If you enjoyed this coin adventure and want more tips on which coins could make you rich, or at least get you a few bucks, hit that subscribe button. I'm always here to help you with more strategies and secrets to finding hidden gems in your change. Trust me, you don't want to miss out on any of these tips. So, subscribe, and who knows, maybe next time, we'll be talking about your lucky find. Do you have a penny stashed away in a jar or tucked into an old coin collection? Well, it might be time to dig it out because that humble little coin could be worth way more than you think. I'm talking about the 1961 D Mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny. Yes, you heard me right, a penny from 1961 that could have a value of, wait for it, $1.8 million. Stick around, because by the end of this video, you might just start eyeing your pocket change a little differently. So, let's dive into the crazy world of rare coins. Now, I know what you're thinking. A penny from 1961? Come on, that's just pocket change, right? You've probably got a few of those kicking around in your house. I get it. You're probably thinking, it's just a penny. What's so special about that? Well, let me tell you, my friend, this particular penny is anything but ordinary. Let's start with a little background. The 1961D penny was struck at the Denver Mint. If you're a coin collector, you already know that mint marks matter. They're like the signature on a famous painting. The D stands for Denver, which is where the coin was made. But here's the kicker. The 1961D penny didn't have any major design changes or commemorations like some of the more famous coins. But here's where it gets wild. See, not all 1961D pennies are worth millions. It's the condition and rarity of the coin that makes it so special. If you've got one of these bad boys in mint condition, meaning it's practically flawless, like it just came out of a time machine from 1961, well, you're holding a potential gold mine. There are only a few of these flawless 1961D pennies known to exist, and that's why one sold for an astonishing $1.8 million at auction. So, how do you know if you've got one of these rarities? Well, you'll need a good magnifying glass and some patience. Look for signs like a crisp, clean design, sharp details, and no wear or damage. Even the tiniest scratch or discoloration can drop the value from $1 million to, well, just a regular penny. But hey, a penny saved is a penny earned, right? I once thought I found a rare coin in a pile of change at the local store. I was so excited. I rushed home to examine it under a microscope, and I swear, I thought I hit the jackpot. I was dreaming of swimming in pools of cash like Scrooge McDuck. Turns out, it was just a regular 1975 penny. So, if you find one of these rare 1961D pennies, trust me, you'll know. You'll feel it. Your heart will race, and you'll probably even do a little happy dance. I certainly did when I found a rare coin in my collection. That wasn't the 1975 penny, by the way. But here's the thing. Just because your penny might not be worth $1.8 million doesn't mean it's not valuable. Even less rare, well-preserved coins can fetch impressive prices, depending on the collector demand. So, don't give up hope if you don't have a mint condition 1961D penny. Keep looking and keep collecting. You never know what treasure you might find in that old jar. So, what can we learn from all this? First, check your change. Like, really check it. You might just find a diamond in the rough. And second, don't let your old coins gather dust. There could be some hidden gems in your collection, even if they aren't worth millions. The world of coin collecting is full of surprises, and it's always fun to learn what your old pennies and dimes could be worth. If you enjoyed this little coin adventure, make sure to hit that subscribe button for more tips on coins worth money, strategies for spotting rare finds, and even a few more stories from my own coin hunting experiences. Trust me, you'll want to stick around. You never know what might be hiding in your pocket change. Have you ever heard the phrase, "One man's trash is another man's treasure"? Well, today, we're diving into a coin that might be jingling around in your pocket right now, the 1967 no-mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny. This little copper coin could be worth up to $2 million. Yes, you heard that right, $2 million. Now, before you start flipping over your couch cushions or raiding your piggy bank, let's talk about why this coin is such a big deal. Stick around, and by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what to look for. And who knows? You could be sitting on a fortune without even realizing it. So, what's the deal with the 1967 penny, and why is it worth more than a luxury sports car? Let's break it down. In 1967, the U.S. Mint was dealing with some drama. There was a nationwide coin shortage, and people were hoarding coins like they were Pokemon cards in the 90s. To streamline production, the Mint decided to skip the mint marks altogether. That means coins produced in Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco in 1967 all look identical because they have no little letter underneath the date. But here's the kicker. Not all 1967 pennies were created equal. Most are just your average, run-of-the-mill copper coins, worth, well, 1 cent. But a few rare ones have some unique qualities that make collectors lose their minds and their wallets. These special pennies have perfect, uncirculated conditions or incredibly rare errors, and that's where the big money comes in. What makes the $2 million penny special? The $2 million 1967 penny isn't just any penny. This particular coin is pristine. We're talking about a coin that looks like it's been wrapped in bubble wrap and stored in a time capsule. It's graded MS 68, which means it's almost flawless. MS stands for mint state, and the scale goes from 1 to 70. So, an MS 68 coin is a near-perfect specimen, and it's incredibly rare for a penny from this era to be in such good condition. To give you some perspective, finding an MS 68 penny is like finding a needle in a haystack. If that needle was made of gold and surrounded by regular needles, and let's not forget about demand. Collectors love coins with stories, and this one ticks all the boxes. It's rare, it's historical, and it's in jaw-dropping condition. How to spot one in your collection, all right? So you're probably wondering, do I have one of these magical pennies? The date? Look for 1967 on the coin. If it doesn't say 1967, well, sorry, but you're out of luck on this one. The mint mark, or rather, the lack of one. Remember, no mint mark means it's from 1967. The condition? This is the big one. If your penny looks like it's been through a war, it's probably not going to fetch much. But if it's shiny, crisp, and looks brand new, you might want to get it checked out by a professional coin grading service. Now, let me tell you a quick story. A couple of years ago, I found a 1967 penny in my car's cup holder. I got so excited, thinking I'd hit the jackpot. I mean, it wasn't MS 68 quality, more like been to the bottom of a purse quality. But for a split second, I imagine myself on a yacht, sipping champagne, all thanks to a penny. Spoiler alert, it wasn't worth millions, but hey, it was still a cool moment. Why are coins like this so valuable? Coins are like little pieces of history. They tell a story about the time they were made, and rare ones are like VIP tickets to that story. Collectors are willing to pay crazy amounts for coins that are rare, in great condition, and have an interesting backstory. And let's be real, who wouldn't want to own a $2 million penny? So, there you have it, the 1967 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny. It's a tiny piece of copper that could change your life. If you've got some spare change lying around, take a closer look. You never know what you might find. And if you enjoyed this little dive into the world of coin collecting, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. I've got plenty more tips and strategies to help you discover coins worth money, and maybe even a hidden fortune. Have you ever looked at a penny and thought, it's just a penny? Well, what if I told you that one tiny coin, specifically the 1976 D-Mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny, is currently valued at a jaw-dropping $2.3 million. Yeah, you heard me right. A penny that could make you a millionaire. Today, we're diving deep into this extraordinary coin's history, how it got its insane value, and most importantly, how you can figure out if you've got one of these beauties hiding in your change jar. Stick around because by the end of this video, you might be running to dig through your couch cushions. First, let's set the stage. The 1976 D penny might look like any other coin at first glance. It's small, copper-colored, and has Honest Abe doing his thing on the front. But this particular penny is special. Why? It all boils down to its unique features, minting quirks, and a sprinkle of collector magic. Back in 1976, these pennies were minted at the Denver Mint, hence the D mark under the year. The vast majority of these coins were your typical copper-clad zinc composition, but a rare few were struck with an error or unique feature that made them highly collectible. Some have an unusual double die, where the letters or numbers appear slightly doubled. Others might have been minted on the wrong metal planchet. These little oopsies from the mint make collectors go wild and rich. I used to think I was a coin expert. One day, I was sorting through some spare change, and I came across what I thought was a rare 1976 D penny. My heart was racing. I'm already planning my retirement in the Bahamas. But then I realized I was looking at a Canadian penny. Yep, wrong country, wrong year. Moral of the story: double-check your coins before you start Googling beachfront properties. Now, back to the $2.3 million beauty. The specific penny fetching this price has a few standout characteristics. Most importantly, it's in pristine condition, graded as a mess, 68 by coin grading experts. That means it's virtually flawless, as if it was minted yesterday. If you're wondering, how do I even check the condition of my penny? Don't worry, we'll get to that. The market value also hinges on demand. Coin collectors love a good story, and 1976 is a memorable year in U.S. history. It was the bicentennial, 200 years since the Declaration of Independence. Combine that with the rarity of this particular minting, and you've got the perfect storm for a multi-million-dollar penny. Always check the D mint mark and examine the coin under a magnifying glass for any unusual features like doubling, die cracks, or off-center strikes. If it looks promising, get it authenticated by a professional coin grading service like PCGS or NGC. Trust me, it's worth the small fee if you're holding on to a potential fortune. All right, let's bring it all together. The 1976 D Abraham Lincoln penny might just be one of the most exciting coins out there today. It's proof that sometimes the smallest things can pack the biggest punch, kind of like that one jalapeno in the salsa bowl that ruins your whole day. You've got a jar of pennies sitting in your kitchen. Inside, one of those coins could be worth more than your house, your car, and your entire savings combined. So, what are you waiting for? Start digging through your loose change. Before you go, hit that subscribe button for more coin tips, stories, and strategies to help you uncover hidden treasures in your pocket. Who knows? Your next cup of coffee could be paid for by $1 million penny. Don't forget to like this video, share it with your friends, and let me know in the comments if you've ever found a valuable coin. You're rummaging through a jar of loose change, maybe trying to scrounge up enough for a cup of coffee. You pull out a penny, an ordinary, brown little penny. But what if I told you that penny might just be worth $2.5 million? Yes, million with an M. That's exactly what happened with the 1972 no-mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny. Today, I'm going to tell you the story of this tiny treasure, why it's so valuable, and how you could spot one yourself. Spoiler alert, you might already have one lying around. So grab your magnifying glass, and let's dive into the wild world of collectible coins. What makes the 1972 no-mint mark penny so special? At a glance, it looks like any other penny from the early 70s. Abraham Lincoln's profile on the front, the Lincoln Memorial on the back, classic stuff. But this particular penny has a little secret. You see, in 1972, the Philadelphia Mint produced millions of pennies, but some of them ended up with no mint mark. Normally, pennies from Philadelphia don't have a mint mark anyway. So what's the big deal? Some of these pennies have a doubling error, known as a double die obverse. That's just a fancy way of saying the design on the front, like the date, 1972, or the word Liberty, looks like it was stamped twice. It's like the penny had one too many cups of coffee that day and started seeing double. Now, not every 1972 penny is worth millions, but a very rare variation of this coin with the doubling error and no mint mark is what collectors are going absolutely bonkers for. And why $2.5 million? Well, coin values are all about rarity, condition, and demand. This particular penny checks all those boxes. It's like finding a vintage car in perfect condition with only 10 miles on it. A collector's dream. Speaking of dreams, let me tell you a quick story. A few years ago, I got hooked on coin collecting because of my grandma. She used to save every penny she found, saying, "You never know, this could pay for your college someday." Of course, back then, I thought she was just being dramatic. Fast forward to me as an adult, sifting through her old coffee cans full of coins. Did I find a $2.5 million penny? Not exactly. But I did find a few cool pieces that were worth a couple $100. One coin dealer even told me, "You never know where the jackpot is hiding." That stuck with me. Now, every time I get change at the store, I inspect it like I'm Indiana Jones looking for the Holy Grail. Check the date. Look for 1972. If it's not that year, move along. No mint mark. This means it was made in Philadelphia. Look for doubling, grab a magnifying glass and examine the date and the word Liberty. If the letters and numbers look like they're slightly offset or doubled, you might have a winner. Condition is key. Even if you find one, its value depends on how pristine it is. No scratches, dings, or discoloration. So handle it carefully. The current market value for one of these rare 1972 no-mint mark pennies with the doubling error can reach up to $2.5 million if it's in mint condition. Even if it's not perfect, some variations have sold for tens of thousands of dollars. Imagine what you could do with $2.5 million. Pay off your mortgage, travel the world, or, if you're like me, buy more coins. All right, my friends, here's your homework. Go through every penny in your possession. Check the date, look for that doubling, and who knows, you might just strike it rich. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. I've got plenty more coin tips, tricks, and strategies coming your way. From rare dimes to valuable quarters, we're diving into the change in your pocket to find the hidden treasures. Have you ever found a rare coin? Or are you just starting out on this coin collecting adventure? I'd love to hear your stories. Thanks for watching, and remember, the next time someone says, "It's just a penny," you tell them, "It could be $2.5 million. Have you ever casually flipped a penny, tossed it aside, and thought, it's just 1 cent? Well, what if I told you one of those just a pennies could be worth a jaw-dropping $2.7 million today? Yes, I'm talking about the 1970 D. Lincoln penny with a little secret that's making collectors go wild. Grab your magnifying glass and coffee, or tea if that's your thing, because today, we're diving into the fascinating world of this rare coin and why it's worth so much. Oh, and stick around. I'll share how a penny once saved me from a major embarrassment. Trust me, you don't want to miss this one, alright? So let's get to the juicy part. What makes the 1970 D penny so special? For starters, the D mint mark tells us it was minted in Denver, but this isn't your typical copper coin. No, this bad boy has a major error, something we collectors like to call a double die. Think of it like a glitch in the minting process where some details on the coin appear twice, like a shadow. It's almost like the penny had a little too much caffeine and jittered during its creation. This doubling is most noticeable on the date and lettering. If you look closely, you might see the numbers 1970 looking a bit off. Like, is my vision blurry? Or is there something funky going on here? That's the magic of the double die error, and it's what makes this penny so incredibly valuable. Now, let's talk money. A standard 1970 D penny is worth, well, 1 cent. But if you have the double die version, congratulations, you're holding on to a potential $2.7 million jackpot. Why so much, you ask? Collectors are obsessed with these rare errors because they tell a story. It's like owning a misprinted book or a Picasso painting with an extra brushstroke. Imperfection equals rarity, and rarity equals dollar dollar dollar. Let me tell you about the time I almost threw away a penny that turned out to be worth $50. Not $2.7 million. Don't get too excited. But hey, $50 is still a solid dinner out, right? So, there I was, cleaning out my desk drawer, and I noticed this weird penny with a smudge on the date. I was seconds away from tossing it when my curiosity kicked in. I Googled it, and lo and behold, it was a minor error coin. That's when I realized pennies aren't just loose change. They're tiny gold mines, so what's the lesson here? Always double-check your change. You never know when a random penny could pay for a vacation, your dream car, or, heck, even early retirement. If you're itching to find a 1970 D double die penny, here's what to do. First, grab a magnifying glass or a coin loop. Seriously, your naked eye might miss the tiny details. Look closely at the date and the words Liberty or In God We Trust. If anything looks doubled, distorted, or just a bit strange, you might have struck gold, or copper in this case. Check your coin's condition too. A mint condition penny can fetch way more than one that's been through a vending machine war zone. Grading services like PCGS or NGC can help authenticate and grade your coin, boosting its value even further. So, the next time you're sorting through your change jar, don't just focus on the quarters and dimes. Take a good look at those pennies, especially the ones from 1970 with the little D mint mark. Who knows? You might be holding on to a $2.7 million treasure and not even realize it. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the world of rare coins, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. Trust me, you don't want to miss our future videos where we uncover more hidden gems and share tips to make your coin collection even more valuable. Have you ever checked the loose change in your pocket, hoping to stumble across something rare? Well, today, you're going to want to do just that because we're talking about a penny that could make you a millionaire. That's right, a humble, tiny, overlooked 1981 Lincoln penny with no mint mark. It's worth $2.8 million today. Yup, one single cent could have you retiring early and sipping cocktails on a beach. Intrigued? Stick around because this story is going to blow your mind and maybe fatten your wallet too. Okay, first things first, what makes this 1981 Lincoln penny so special? Normally, pennies from this era would have a little letter stamped on them to show where they were minted, D for Denver, S for San Francisco, or no mark for Philadelphia. But what we're talking about here is not your ordinary no mint mark coin from Philly. Oh no, this is a rare error coin, and it's believed to have been struck without a mint mark by mistake. Here's where it gets interesting. Coins with errors often get noticed right away and pulled out of circulation, but this little guy somehow slipped through the cracks. Fast forward to today, and collectors are going absolutely bananas over it. Why? Because it's one of the only known error coins of its kind from 1981. Rarity equals value in the coin world, my friends. Now, let's talk money. This bad boy was recently valued at $2.8 million. That's right, this is not monopoly money, folks. To put that into perspective, if you saved a single penny every day of your life, it'd still take you over 76,000 years to save that kind of cash. Now, let me tell you a quick story. A couple of years ago, I got into coin collecting because my grandpa gave me his old coin jar. One day, I spent hours sorting through that thing, feeling like Indiana Jones searching for buried treasure. Found a bunch of wheat pennies and felt like I'd hit the jackpot. Then, I went to a coin show and proudly showed them off. The dealer gave me a polite smile and said, "Nice try, kid." Turns out my treasure was worth about $5. But hey, you live, you learn. Fast forward to today. I keep a sharp eye out for error coins like this 1981 no mint mark penny. So, let this be your sign to start checking your change, because you never know. Tips to spot and verify the 1981 no mint mark penny. So, how do you know if you've got the golden ticket? The coin should lack any mint mark, but be careful. It's not just any no mint mark penny. Look for slight anomalies or imperfections in the design. Error coins often have subtle quirks. The better the condition, the higher the value. A crisp, uncirculated coin is what you're aiming for. If you think you found one, don't get too excited yet. Send it to a professional grading service to verify its authenticity. The current market hype collectors are willing to pay top dollar for this coin, and auction houses are seeing fierce bidding wars. One recently sold for $2.8 million, and experts predict the value could go even higher as time goes on. This is like the ultimate retirement plan, but way more fun than your typical 401k. All right, coin enthusiasts, it's time to start digging through your change jars, checking under your couch cushions, and maybe even raiding your grandma's penny stash. The 1981 no mint mark Lincoln penny might be waiting for you to claim it. How many pennies do you think you've tossed aside without a second thought? That could have been your million-dollar moment. Don't let it happen again. If you enjoyed this video and want more tips, tricks, and stories about coins worth serious cash, hit that subscribe button and ring the bell. Who knows, our next video might help you find your next treasure.